All right. All right. What's going on, everybody? Let's check out the stream, make sure everything's going well. Okay, Twitch is looking good. YouTube's looking good. Got my water. Stream element spot is running. I do not know why that happened. I don't remember setting that up. Interesting. Um, Knox of Spades, how's it going? I hope everyone is good who's on. Doing it a little different today. I just bought myself a Rodecaster Duo, so I got my headphones on because I'm testing out the thing. So I'm routing my audio through there into OBS. So hopefully you could hear me. I see the levels. Um, it makes it a little bit easier to record because then I could also record the audio in the Rodecaster, and it's better audio when I edit it. I'm editing better audio rather than my mic just directly into my camera, so people say. And I could do cool things like with the pads, and that's always fun, isn't it? And I'm also recording this here because I'm going to upload this as a podcast. But obviously, I honestly don't know what this Stream Elements bot is for. I don't remember adding that. I got to figure out how to take that off, I think. Hopefully, I'm not too, my sound level's not too high. But yeah, Twitch and YouTube are looking good. I could probably just put those in the background, look at my stream health. It's healthy. Once again, I forgot to connect my Ethernet, but I always do that. So, what will we talk about today? Same as every Thursday. We'll talk Community, Atlanta, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't think I really posted anything else this week like last week. There were no trailers this week, but I do have some Brooklyn Nine-Nine news to share, and I'll probably start with that because it's kind of odd. So I've had this channel for about a year, basically, maybe like 13 months, and I've never really had anything like copyright strikes or partially blocked. If they were, it was always because of music, and that's my bad. I would forget to like edit it out. So in post production, I would do that. But for some reason, almost every single Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode gets hit. So the one that I posted today, it posted last night fine. It went like 12 hours over the air and it was fine. I woke up this morning, it was public, no restrictions. And then an hour ago, partially blocked and ineligible. So I was actually editing it, but it looks like the edits, even the section they told me to edit out, yeah, it didn't matter. They told me to trim out a segment. I trimmed it and nothing happened. So I don't know what I'm actually supposed to do, if I'm just not going to monetize it or if I just can't do these reactions. that would suck. So that's that. Let's see. Yeah, so if anyone's watching and they have experience with this, just let me know because I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine and I love doing the reactions. And I really don't want to make them like Patreon exclusives. Like, I really don't. But someone told me late to the, excuse me, late to the party. I believe that. Oh my God, I don't know what the hell is wrong with me right now. I feel like I'm flustered because of this. Yeah, late to the party. Told me they stay away from NBC Universal shows, so that's what I might have to do. Let's see. Okay, I could get right into it now. So we'll start as always with Community. This Monday, 3 days ago, was episode 22 of season 2. That was, excuse me, Applied Anthropology and Culinary Arts. This was a pretty simple, straightforward bottle episode where they were in class taking like their fake final. Basically, it was BS, and the only one who really objected to it was Annie, because they were going to give everyone A's, and I guess Annie didn't want that. But during all of this is the episode where Shirley goes into labor, and there were a couple of little things going on, but not like really too much. And so the culinary arts portion of it was basically a food like festival that they were having, and they never went there. They just mentioned it, but it played a part in the pregnancy because when they needed an ambulance to get Shirley to the hospital, there were no ambulances because there was like a war at the cookout, the culinary arts festival, and all the ambulances were there. So there were none to take Shirley to the hospital. So this is the one where Troy and Abed, as always, do their handshake, and Pierce, being Pierce from the outside, hates it. He just hates not being included in things, but a handshake is different than like being included in like playing cards or playing D&D. Like a handshake is personal between two people. So he tells Troy and Abed he wants to buy their handshake for $1,000, and they're like, "This is like indecent proposal." So they think about it and they say, "Fine." They sell the handshake. Well, they teach Pierce how to do it because they're nice guys and they want to include him. But the plot really was that he just wanted to ruin something that they had because he hates it. And immediately after they give him $1,000, they try to do the handshake and they're off and they cannot do it. So they try to give the money back, and Pierce basically is like, "You can't put the genie back in the bottle. Like, it's not about the money. It's about ruining it because I hated it and now it's ruined." And that's Pierce being a jerk again, but that's what he wanted and it was ruined. So Shirley goes into labor and obviously she needs help. And Britta's there and Annie's there. Annie can't do it. Britta thinks she could do it. She tries, gives it a shot, but she kind of gets grossed out and throws up in the garbage. And that's when Abed takes over. And this was a really cool callback because this is I think the one background thing in season one that I actually did catch were those few episodes where Abed helps deliver a baby. Yeah, because he delivers it in the background in the back of a van, from what I remember. So it's cool that they take that and bring it here. And Abed is just like, "This is what you got to do, Shirley. Every contraction you got to breathe." And they're like, "How the hell do you know this?" And he's like, "I delivered a baby last semester in the background." Like he says something like that. So that was really funny. So yeah, he was able to do it, but Shirley wasn't comfortable with a man up under her like that. So Britta had to come back and try it again. And she hulked up and she was able to do it and deliver the baby. But the part that was most touching to me was with Shirley and Chang, because Shirley's husband gets there to support her, and she keeps saying it's going to be, a Bennett baby. It's not going to be a Chang baby. And Chang was like, previous in the episode, was just telling her all these weird things, like they're usually born in weird places. They're strong. They always come out healthy. Trying to reassure her that everything will be okay if it is a Chang baby. And then all this other stuff happens once her husband gets there, and it's kind of chaotic. So it was nice that she recognized that even though Chang was kind of silly and crazy, like while he was talking to her, she recognized that he was actually calming her down. So Shirley's like, "Chang, can you please like tell me more stories?" And he keeps telling these stories. Baby's born, and it's a Bennett baby. It's not Chang's. And I think he was a little bit sad. I don't think he would have been a great father at that point, but he was sad that it wasn't his. But Shirley was so appreciative of him that she wanted to name the baby Ben. And she told her husband that. She said we should name him Ben. And he's like, "Ben Bennett." And I think she's like, maybe the middle name or something. So that was really funny. And all the while, there was someone there from like Community College Dean magazine or something like that. And they were interviewing the dean, to try to get, he wanted a good picture of himself in this publication, but obviously everything goes wrong when the guy's there. But at the end of the day, he does say that he was going to write something nice about him, and then we find out that after two issues, they stop producing it because it's a stupid book that nobody will read anyway. Hey, what's up, Jay? Blips. So, yeah, Community was fairly simple. Those were the pretty much the plot points. Atlanta, I'm into another season, and I feel like this week's gonna go quick, so I could always go back and talk about more once I'm finished going just briefly through the episodes. But to go back to Community 222, I think my favorite part of that episode was probably, I don't know. Like I said, there wasn't a lot going on. So what would my favorite part be? Probably the Shirley and Ben stuff because it was really touching, and I felt it because from season one to now, Shirley's just. I mean, no one's been nice to him because he's been kind of a jerk. You know, first he was the teacher, and then he wanted to be part. So they didn't really show him any love. But once Shirley got pregnant, like Shirley was savage to him. So that was really nice that she was just like took a breath and realized Chang was a help. So that was my favorite part. No need to apologize, Jay. Um, let's see. Yeah, so that's that. Atlanta season 4 just started, the last season. This is episode 1. I have episode 2 on Patreon, so I only have 8 more episodes to watch. And I'm extremely sad because this show is so good, and I wish there were more. But episode 1 was called The Most Atlanta, and this episode was really, really interesting because it was shot to me like a Twilight Zone episode. And it's gonna be hard for me to like describe this because there was a lot going on, and I'm gonna do it quick in like 5 to 10 minutes. But in this episode again, we start with, well, actually, this episode we start with Darius. He's entering a store that's being looted, which is kind of funny because that happened here, I think, a couple of weeks ago in Nordstrom. Jay said, I mean, the ex-husband of Shirley, Andre, shows he's growing. Some men could never accept a kid that's not theirs, but he stepped up regardless of whatever happened. I thought they got remarried. So they just got back together, but they're not remarried yet. Okay, that was my mistake. But yeah, you're right. I mean, originally, like when it first happened, he wasn't like, I don't think he wanted to even think about that. But he actually, like you said, he got over it way quicker than Shirley. So yeah, Darius goes into the store that's being looted. He wants to return an air fryer, and basically the guy behind the counter is like, "Do you see what's going on here?" And he looks like he was about to return it, but he stole the money and ran. But the main purpose of this was when he's leaving, there's a crazy white lady in a wheelchair trying to be the police and not get people to loot, which you should never do. Like, we're not the police. Like, just let the big company use their loss prevention insurance or whatever. But she's being a Karen and won't let anyone leave. So Darius is just like, she's in a wheelchair. I'll just like walk around her. So he walks around. They shoot her with a fire extinguisher, and they all leave. But she comes driving out with a little pocket knife pointed at Darius and just is strolling like towards him 2 miles an hour. And Darius like, you're nuts. So he just walks away, goes back on the freeway because we see they were in traffic, and Paperboy is still sitting there. And you could see one of my favorite parts of this is the progression of how well they're doing. Now Paperboy's driving a Cadillac Escalade, which is dope. It means he's getting paid, which I'm very happy. And then at this point, we switch to Vanessa and Ern. They're going to the mall. Well, not like a mall, but like an outdoor plaza. I believe Vanessa needs to get a new phone, so they're just walking around. And as soon as they get there, Ern bumps into a girl that he used to date years ago. She says hi. They talk a little bit. They keep walking. And then 2 minutes later, another girl that Ern used to date, he says hi. They keep walking. Vanessa kind of makes a joke like, "Have you dated everybody that lives around here?" Then they finally get to the T-Mobile store, one of the stores, and then the guy who works there is someone who used to date Vanessa back in the day, and she mentions that when they dated, he worked at that store, so he's been there for a while, and it kind of plays into the Twilight Zone theme of this episode. Um, you know, we'll get to that at the end. But then we get back to Paperboy and Darius, and the friggin' lady in the wheelchair is on the freeway. Crazy. But she's going through traffic, which is at a standstill, and Darius sees her in the rearview mirror, and he gets out, and he's like, what are you doing?" And she goes to like stab him, and he just walks away again, and he's on his merry way. And of course, she's following behind them. At this point, Paperboy's listening to the radio, and one of his favorite rappers had passed away. And when someone dies, they play all their music and stuff. So he's listening to it, and they mention a restaurant, and a meal that you should order. I forgot what it was called, but once he's able to move, he pulls off the exit and he pulls up to this restaurant. So he goes there and he's talking to the person who owns the restaurant. He tells them, "Oh, I heard about this meal, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Can I get that?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can get it." So places his order, he sits down, and then he's just sitting there until his food's ready. And then it's ready. He has like a little hamburger box that's given to him. He pays for it. He opens it, and I think it was basically just Fritos in there, but there was a clue. And it turns out that the rapper, I guess before he died, set up a scavenger hunt. So Paperboy is on his way on a scavenger hunt. This part kind of made me a little bit sad because I remember last year Darius wanted to do it like a scavenger hunt, and they wouldn't let him do it. Like, it would have been perfect if he was still with Paperboy so he could do it with him. So I kind of felt bad for Darius. But yeah, so he sets off and he has to go like meet a guy who has like a QR code tattoo on his arm. Then he has to go to a laundromat. He goes there. He gets 3D glasses because then he has to go to a movie. He has to watch a movie. And then the movie, I think, is the last clue where he ends up at like a deserted, also like a outdoor shopping center. And he goes in. And then we go back to Vanessa and Ern. Shay said, "Rap scavenger hunt, kind of cool. I'd love to do a real adult puzzle solving scavenger hunt." Those would be dope, I think. As, like, if they take you all over, like, the city and stuff, that would be pretty cool. So we're back with Vanessa and Ern, and they're leaving. And now they're both like picking people like, "I dated her 5 years ago." And she's like, "I dated this guy," whatever. At this point in time, they're just going back and forth and back and forth. And it's really weird that they're seeing so many people that they used to date. And then, like, I'm rationalizing it by saying they've grown up there. They lived there their whole life. Maybe when they were younger, that's like the mall they went to a lot. And they just mingled and dated. But then the girl who saw Ern in the very beginning of the episode says again, "Hey, Ern, I haven't seen you in a while." And this is where it kicked in that something's not right. Because as soon as I thought it, Ern said it like, "I just saw you like 15 minutes ago." And she's like, "No, you didn't." So Ern says something like, what was the last movie you remember seeing at the multiplex, at the theater that was there?" And she names a movie that was like, I think it was like 10 years old maybe, but it wasn't a movie that was out now. And that's another thing, like Twilight Zone, like how is this even real? She doesn't remember seeing him, and then she only remembers seeing a movie that came out like 5, 10 years ago, and she's like, "Is that bad?" And they're like, "We'll see you later." So they're looking for their car and they can't find it in the parking lot because Twilight Zone, basically, it's just they can't find it. And that's just something that happens to everyone. You park somewhere in a structure and you forget where you park. But Ern basically finds a door that he believes is going to lead out, and he goes in. Now, at this point, What did Jay said? I didn't even get out to see Oppenheimer. I'll tell you what, hard to get folks to the theater some days. It is, but surprising. Oppenheimer is one of the movies that everyone went to see, probably except for just you and me. um, so they this point they go back to Darius, and now he has a bike and he's like just riding around. I think he's on some train tracks. I don't know where he is, but who's behind him? The lady in the friggin' mini scooter thing with the knife. Again, Twilight Zone. It would be physically impossible for her to follow him that long without the battery going, but that's the point of this episode. It's crazy and no one knows what's going on. So Darius basically hops the fence. She can't follow him anymore. And you think that's probably the end of her. Jay said, right? I hear we missed out. It was shot for IMAX. It's probably some top tier techniques to add to the movie. I mean, I was never really intrigued about Oppenheimer in the first place. I never planned to see it. Not because I think it was bad, but it's just not something that really interests me, I guess. I don't know. But I'm sure it's great. Everyone loves it. All right. So yeah, Darius hops the fence and he's gone, which leads back to Paperboy. He enters that like abandoned store, and what does he go into? The funeral of the rapper who had died recently. It was his funeral, all set up, all the chairs, the casket, and the only person that was there at that moment was his wife. So she's like, "Are you here for, you know, him?" And he's like, "I guess so, you know." And long story short, he died. I believe he died of like cancer or something months ago, but he wanted to do something fun, I guess, for everyone. So he set up an elaborate scavenger hunt to get to his funeral. So they're like talking a little bit, and then Paperboy goes to see like the body because the casket's up there, and all it is like a fake skeleton dressed up with an Atlanta hat, I believe. And the other funny thing is, I forgot what kind of plant it was. I think it was weed. I think it was a marijuana plant. The wife is like, you get one of these too. And if you listen to his CD on track 11, he teaches you how to maintain it. So that's kind of funny too. Like his album is more than just music. It's like education. And apparently track 11 is the one that teaches you how to maintain this plant that he's giving away at his own funeral. So as Paperboy is talking to the wife, you hear banging on the door, and who bursts through? Ern, Vanessa, and that girl. How on earth is that mall connected to this one? We don't know. Twilight Zone, but that's how they get there. So they all meet up there like that. And then you're like, damn, where's Darius? If they're all meeting up here, Darius can't be far behind. But then you're thinking he's on a bike and who even knows where he is? But they exit. Who's in the parking lot? Darius with the air fryer. He was not able to find a way to return it. So they're all there. And when they're all leaving, the girl that they was there with them mentioned the reason she went to the mall was to get her dad a birthday present. She forgot to get it. So Darius gives her the air fryer. And in my head, I'm like, Darius just passed the bad juju to this girl. I know it. And then 2 minutes before the credits roll, you hear the scooter, the lady's there, but now she's going to be going after her because she has the air fryer. So that was season 4, episode 1 of Atlanta. Atlanta just does it different and better than a lot of shows. It's such a great show. I think my favorite part of that episode was I love Darius, so I want to say like Darius escaping the lady, but it's got to be Paperboy probably this episode, just for the fact that it was cool. He got to do a scavenger hunt and eventually ended up at one of his favorite rappers' funerals, even though it was sad that he died, but he had learned about it that day. So I think it's cool that he actually got there and was able to pay his respects in person. Maybe Jay said maybe one day for the Patreon. Oh, Oppenheimer. Damn, a 3-hour movie. That might have to be like a live watch along. I actually want to do a Patreon live watch along soon to a movie. The poll I put up, one of them I might do maybe on YouTube or something, but one might just be for Patreon. Okay. And the third show I put up today, which got blocked as I talked about the first 5 minutes, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. All of my episodes are getting struck, but as I said, I heard NBC Universal strikes almost all their stuff. So, but this one was called Old School, season 1, episode 8. I see we got another member at my level. Well, the person who signed up last night is actually at the level above you. I haven't gotten my emails lately, but let me see. I don't see it. Someone else at yours, because the new person is at the Dormammu level, so they're at the one where they get a episode a month and a movie each month. But I could talk about that at the end. I could probably get through Brooklyn Nine-Nine in like 5 minutes. So Old School. Shay said, I noticed I need to re-up my subscription. Whatever you want to do, man. You support me in so many ways. I know some people, they just want to cut it off a couple months and come back, and that's fine. That's what happens when you're trying to grow, I guess. Let's see. Okay, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Again, NBC blocked it partially. This one, Jake starts off excited because a former cop from like the 70s and 80s who is now an author who wrote one of his favorite books, or probably was his favorite book, basically glorifying how the precinct was in the 70s and 80s, is there to do, I guess, a write-up in an article about that precinct. And he's so happy that his idol is there, that he's trying to impress him any way he can. And the side plot of this is Rosa needs to go to court to testify, and long story short, she's horrible at doing it. So, let's see. Jay said, you're not crazy, Price. Plus, as things grow, the content library will be really solid. The Brooklyn Nine-Nine, don't know the actor's name, but he was the warden in Prison Break. I'll have to look that up. So basically, the guy is, the old school cop is just like a misogynist. He's just a terrible person. He's like making fun of Amy and Rosa, like to Jake, because they're women. They do great desk work, like really important forensic stuff, and he's just like, oh, that's just what people who aren't good cops do, and he's like just teasing them, basically just dismissing them, and then telling stories how one of his pals choked a heroin addict with his own ponytail, and they're like, that's not good. So you obviously know police departments in New York and a lot of places, they still are, but back then it was super corrupt. But Jake idolizes this guy, so he's like buttering it up. He does everything he wants to do, goes to the bar with them, drinks like 2 bottles of scotch or whiskey, gets wasted, all this crap. And then while he's hungover, they have to go catch this criminal that they've been trying to catch, and that's what he wants to do to impress the guy. And while they're out, it was actually Amy who caught the guy, tackled him, and cuffed him because Peralta was too hungover to even run. But the old school cop basically told him that, oh, you're a great cop now. You make us proud. I'm going to write something really good about you. And then we get back and we find out that afterwards, Peralta met up with that guy at like a sauna, talked to him because the guy said Peralta said some bad things while he was drunk about Captain Holt that he wanted him to retract, and he wouldn't do it. So all he did was told Amy that he punched him in the face. So us as the audience, that's all we get. All we get is that Peralta went here, tried to get the story pulled, punched him in the face. When you hear the whole story, that's not what he would have told Amy. He would have told her the whole story, but I understand it's a sitcom. So Captain Holt finds out, and he suspends him for the day, sends him home. Back to Rosa. it's not a lot of stuff. It's basically one of the district attorneys, whenever Rose is on the stand, is a jerk to her. Like, he's an ass. And Rosa is always Rosa, no matter where she is. So even on the stand, she's like intimidating witnesses, just being sassy. She was like threatening the stenographer, etc. So basically she's terrible when she has to testify in court. So Terry and Charles, I think his name is, but like you have to change your demeanor. You have to like be softer. You can't wear leather. So basically they're like giving her a makeover so she could ace this court date that is very important. So they find her a nice outfit to wear, and then when she goes back, all the tips that they gave her the first time, she's overdoing it. So when they say you can't be intimidating, you have to smile, she's like smiling extra. She's like twitching, she's smiling so hard, so she's not doing great. So they go to recess, they come back, and Charles is like, you must be like nervous. She's like, hell yeah, I'm nervous. And Charles is like, that's my sweet spot, baby. So he's basically says, whenever you're nervous, you have to find your happy place. And his is like imagining he's at all these Italian restaurants eating these pastas with these sauces. And she's like, okay, I'll try that. So they go back in. The guy's like harassing her the way he's asking the questions. And she's like, takes a breath and answers the question like perfectly. So we're led to believe that she did her job, and it helped the case. We don't find out if they win or lose or anything, but it was good that she was able to like harness her energy productively. So after that, Charles asks her, what was her happy place, and basically she's like at a cabin alone with the defendant, not the defendant, the public defender, basically kicking his ass and shoving his arm up his ass, something like that. But it worked for her. And at the end of the episode, she's very appreciative to Charles. She says, I'll take you out to like a thank you dinner. And Charles is like, yeah, because he's in love with her. But Rosa tells him that her boyfriend's going to be there. So that's like the very end. But going back to the last piece with Jake and the old school captain and Captain Holt, we find out the real reason why Peralta punched him in the face. And it turns out that when he was trying to get him to pull the article, he said like, you took advantage of me because I was drunk when I said all these things, and it's not fair to Captain Holt because he's a great guy, he's a great captain. And the old school guy, being from the 70s and 80s, he's a homophobic, and he calls him, I forgot what he called him now, but something bad. I don't think it was the F word. Oh, it's the H one. So he calls him that, and Peralta's like, I really wish you wouldn't have said that. And he said, what? Says the word again. That's why Peralta punched him in the face. So Amy explains that to Holt. And my favorite part, because I feel like Peralta and Holt in little bits are like, Holt still thinks he's lazy and probably like a good cop, but he can be great. So it's nice when Holt compliments him, but he basically says the old guy wouldn't know a good cop if they punched him in the face. And that was a sweet moment. That was pretty cool. It made me happy. And that's when it ended. So, I think I went 9 minutes with that one. Not bad. That was Brooklyn Nine-Nine Old School. And those were the 3 episodes that I watched this week. Community, Atlanta, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've watched Ahsoka, but I'm not doing anything with that. The Kind Assassin has all of her reviews up. I could say I'm enjoying it for the most part. There are things that are odd to me, but I enjoy all Star Wars. So everything I watch in Star Wars, there are things that I don't like and things that I like. So I don't like tear one thing down. But yeah, all in all, I will say Community this week. Atlanta, got my little pad here, playing around with it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine as an episode. Claps, claps, claps. And then Brooklyn Nine-Nine as an upload because of NBC. So I got through all that in 30 minutes. I was hoping there'd be some peeps on to ask some questions, but whatevs. Jay said, I definitely like to get you to binge Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but did you get a Stream Deck? Yeah, I got the Rode Stream Deck Duo. I had purchased the Streamer X, but it's not what I needed. That's basically like a capture card. I wanted this because I wanted to be able to record my audio also in the machine. So I would have like, when I edited it, I'd have better audio. And then I could also just take this, like I'm recording right now. So once I'm done, the live will be obviously on YouTube. And then I'm going to upload the audio to the podcast that I have. And it's on Apple Music and it's on Amazon Music and all that. I just don't really put anything there. Usually when I do reviews, I download my audio and I upload it. Like I think all of the Kind Assassins Ahsoka reviews, I'm probably going to download and then upload there. Jay said it makes it too simple to do some advanced stuff with just a button press. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I really have to read about it because you could use the pads for like obviously that stuff, and
if I wanted, I could change my voice,
and that's pretty fun, and all these kinds of things. But it's also a MIDI controller, so as you said, theoretically, I should be able to use a pad to start streaming from OBS. I just have to figure out how to do it because right now I have a button on my keyboard to do it. But if I'm going to have my Rodecaster here, I should just, mark a pad to do that. But it's kind of cool. It's got some stuff. Do I have, I don't have that one set up. Do I have that set up? No, I don't have that set up. This one? Oh, I didn't set up. A lot of the special effects are routed to like audio 1, but this is my headset, so
I only have a couple of them set up here.
So Jay said it's really limited to your imagination. A lot of cool software out there. Yeah, one of my friends that I met through my girlfriend, he edits audio for PlayStation, their video games and stuff. And more than that, he did Netflix stuff too. But he was telling me all these things. He uses the Elgato Stream Deck. Yeah, the Elgato Stream Deck with his stuff. And I had thought the Stream Deck was like literally only for Twitch stuff. But obviously you could use it for a lot more. Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's not allowed to tell me what he's working on before it comes out. So he was able to finally tell me he was working on Spider-Man 2. So he did audio mixing on that one. I think he did audio mixing on that game that has that guy from The Walking Dead. So that's pretty cool. What else? Oh, there's another cool thing on this. If I ever get enough people on the Discord to do stuff, you could like send the Discord, set the audio to go to the chat back, so I could use this, I guess, if I wanted to use this while doing like a live, how you could do webcam stuff in Discord and do live streams and stuff in there. I'd be able to use this and hear everyone in the Rodecaster. Like you said, there's a lot of stuff I just need to like research it. Jay said, I had a friend who worked on Moana for Disney, same story, couldn't talk about it till after. It's really cool what these people do, like the audio. He was telling me before he gets it to mix it, it needs to be edited first, which is kind of crazy. I thought like the people who work on the audio do everything, or there's certain people who will cut out like if you hear background noise or clips or pops or things like that, just to get like the entire audio file like as I guess quiet as possible and clean, and then they send it to the mixer, and then that guy does the EQ and the compression and the limiter and all that stuff. So it's much more advanced than I originally thought. Oh man, I'm actually just curious, how does my audio sound? Because I know my levels are okay, but this isn't the best headset. Like, it's not a Rode professional headset. It's just a Logitech gaming headset, so it's probably not the best microphone. I was gonna use my Blue Yeti because technically you can use it, but I hear a lot of feedback with it, so I'm not. I might eventually just buy like a Rode podcast USB, the one that has XLR and USB. Jay said it's solid on my and iPad Pro earpods. Okay, cool. I got 20 more minutes. Well, I can go through and tell you what what movie he picked. Let me just go to the Patreon. I already posted the episode, the IT crowd. It was pretty funny. As I said in my review, I haven't watched the laugh track show in a while. Let's see. Yeah, they're on the $15 tier. Kay Lewis on the $3 Our Flag Means Death tier. I've known her and probably you, her, and this one of my other friends from Twitter who lives in New Zealand. Probably the three people I've known the longest since I had my channel. But she was like one of the first when I was doing Our Flag Means Death videos, and she actually signed up for that tier. So that kind of made me happy because I used to do all those watch-alongs in Discord. He said, I forgot how weird the laugh track stuff is until I catch them How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, the funny thing is there still are a lot of shows that do it, so I'm sure there are people that watch like How I Met Your Mother, The Big Bang Theory. I used to watch Two and a Half Men. I think Two and a Half Men might have been the last show I watched consistently that had a laugh track. And that was when Charlie Sheen was there. When he left, I don't think I watched it. So when you're watching just like, Atlanta, Breaking Bad, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Community, these shows for years and years and years, and then you go back and watch one, it's weird because subliminally I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be laughing now, right? But all right. Anyway, let me go to my messages. The name of the movie that I downloaded because I'm going to probably watch it tomorrow actually is Dave Made a Maze. I've never heard of it. It's not that old though. It's from 2017. So we'll see. It's only an hour and 20 minutes, so that's nice. Jay said right, but MASH, the old show about army doctors, had the laugh track heavy in the beginning and virtually non-existent by the end. That's funny because every time I see clips of it, I've never watched it, but obviously everyone knows MASH and you've seen it somewhere. I don't remember the clips that I've seen actually having one. So that's funny that you said that when they started they did, because I don't remember ever seeing it. Might have been a bad idea to drink water with ice in a glass with a glass straw. Make a mental note for next time. Let's see. So yeah, I'll probably try to watch that movie tomorrow. Oh, you, Mr. J, you still have to tell me the show, an episode you want me to watch this month. Oh, I forgot to talk about Rick and Morty, but that's a Patreon only, so maybe I don't do that on these live streams. Maybe that's the Patreon only live streams. Jay said, I got a video shout out from Corporal Klinger on Cameo, the celebrity website. Oh, shoot, for real? You always say we need to talk after, and then you go on vacation or in-laws come over. Let's see. Let's see. Still got a healthy stream. That's what I like to see. Twitch is looking good, but I don't even have any Twitch followers. I do this mostly to test multi-streaming in OBS, and it works really good. Though it says I have one viewer. I don't know. Oh, shoot. Someone did say hi. Someone said, how much did you run at Cooper test? I don't know what that is, so that must be a bot. What is Cooper test? Damn, now I got water droplets all over the place. Bad idea, Steve. Yep, still got my Mac Mini. Whenever I'm set up back there, I'll move over for a second. Oh, then I use my M1 MacBook Pro. I usually have my other camera, my oh, it's not there anymore. My Sony A7 III right here. Right here will be my ring light. I push that up a little bit, and that's where I do it. I like doing it that way better, but sometimes I'm just too lazy to push the table out, bring all the equipment out, and then put it back. I get lazy, so it would be a lot easier to have the Rodecaster over there that way, but just so many wires too. Mac Mini does a good job, but I did see the Mac Studio. That is sweet, but maybe once I start getting good revenue. Why did I go with Sony? So one of my good friends, oddly enough, I met him on YouTube. I used to watch his videos because the first real camera I ever bought was a Canon M50, I think like 4 years ago. And he did so many cool tutorial videos about it. I watched all of his videos, and then one day he was gone. Like he just stopped making videos and he was gone. But he has a really distinct name. He'd be easy to find. His name is Bin Dong. So I'm like, if I go to Twitter and search Bin Dong, like if he's there, I'll find him. Like if you search for like Steve Smith, there'll be a million of them. But I was like, okay, I should be able to find him. So I found him on Twitter, and I would like ask him questions and stuff. He'd answer them, and then I didn't hear from him on Twitter. So I stalked him. I went to Instagram, found him there, and then I would ask him questions there. And then he's like, "Dude, we should just text." So we started texting, talking. We actually started our own YouTube channel together, talking about tech stuff. But he got busy at work, and he had like 10,000 subs, and then he just stopped. But anyways, I was using Canons, and it was a mirrorless because I like mirrorless because they're smaller. And then he told me that it's better to use a full frame camera. Like it's if you're gonna take pictures, you probably want to use a full frame. And I was like, well, I do they make the M50 in full frame? And he was like, oh, well, Sony, Nikon, Canon, they all make full frame DSLRs. And I was like, I just want a mirrorless because I like the size. And I think at that time, Sony was the only camera making full frame mirrorless cameras. So I went and I got the Sony A7 III. So I still have the M50 over there. I let my girlfriend use that one. Well, she could use any one she wants, but I gave her that one to practice. If I take pictures, I use the A7 III. And when I do these, like I'm live streaming and I do my vlogs on my Sony ZV-E10. But now I want the Sony ZV-E1 because which I thought was the same camera but full frame because in the pictures they look the same. When I went to Sammy's camera, when I bought the Rodecaster, they let me hold the ZV-E1. It's so much nicer than the 10. It's made out of metal. It's like a really nice camera. That's why it's 3 times more expensive. He said, I bet, but Elon has made Twitter a crazy place these days. Oh, I guess that was when when I was looking for Bin Dong on, yeah, this was like 4 years ago. It was way before he purchased it. Jay said, well, that should still stay solid. By the way, I mean, Sony holds up after years and years. I would hope so. I haven't heard any like bad things, but as I said, I've only owned real cameras for the past like 5 years, maybe. Yeah, since I've lived here. I didn't own a camera when I was in New York. So, I mean, this one's doing well. The A7 III, I still use. I still, like, if I take pictures, I bring it out. It's fine. Like I said, I've live streamed with it. I haven't vlogged with it in a while because I have this and it's smaller. But I really wish this was full frame because I can't shoot 4K 30. If I shot 4K 30, like right now I'm streaming 4K. I'm streaming 1080p 30. But if I switched it to like 4K 24, it would look exactly the same. But if I change it to 4K 30, it crops and it's unusable at this distance. The type of camera that could be as a weapon if needed. Yeah, it actually feels like it does feel like the A7 III. It just doesn't have as many buttons because that one's made out of metal. Oh, also the cinema line cameras are cool, but that's way overdoing it. I think the Heroes Reforged that I watched, they use a, what is it called? A black? No. Damn, I forgot what it's called. They told me. Oh man, it's a cinema line camera, but it's not Sony or Nikon. I forgot what it's called. Damn it. And then I know Marquez uses like an 8K, that red thing. It's crazy. But that's what happens. I think Heroes Reforged has like 1,200 Patreon patrons, so it'd be so cool if I had that many. I could upgrade all my tech. That would be cool. Then I could get a Rodecaster Pro 2 and have 4 outputs that I don't need. Right now, I mean, I could use. This has a 3.5 millimeter headset jack, so that's one mic, and it has 2 mic inputs, so that's 3 mics I could have on here. You could use a wireless, so I could use any of Rode's wireless microphones. It's like 4 mics, and then you could connect it to a telephone to have, like, if you have a caller in, that's 5, so technically it has like 5 inputs. Though the USB 1 is 2 inputs together, so 6 inputs. So it's not too bad. And like I said,
I get to do this, and that's pretty cool.
Yep. It's neat. So this was a cool little test, but yeah. As I said, Mr. Blips, just once you get me that episode, I'll watch it for Patreon and just work on putting out good content, getting more YouTube subs, and maybe transferring them over to Patreon. And if anyone gives some good word of mouth that's already on Patreon to friends and stuff, maybe we could grow that way. But it's fun. It's definitely fun. So, I don't know. I think that's all I got. I don't really have any more. Let me go see if anything new happened while I was on. No new patrons. Check Twitter. Damn, these lights are bright. Let's see what's going on here. Nothing there. So, I don't know. I could probably cut it short. I wonder if I'm going to need to change the day and time of these to get more people. I miss my little group of 10 that used to show up, but I get everyone's busy and it's technically work time on the West Coast, but also kind of late on the East Coast. So I don't know, might have to rethink the day and time, but I guess we'll see. That's all I got. So before I go, Jay, do you got any questions for me or anything? I know I posted in Patreon if anyone had questions they wanted me to ask to post them, but I literally only posted that like an hour ago. So let's see. Maybe it's Thursday. Maybe we try a different day. Yeah, I could try. Right now, I could try any day. Once I find a new job and have like a new schedule, then I might have to change it again. But for now, yeah, maybe next week I do Thursday. I'm not gonna do weekends. Like that's too much. Everyone wants to enjoy their weekend unless there's like, as I said, the community grows and something big happens, and I do it like a Saturday, 10 o'clock, like when Avengers Endgame came out. I remember one of my channels that I watched did a really cool live stream on a Saturday, but that was a huge event. Jay says, what's your thoughts on shows you think you might want to cover? Sometimes folks have a list of stuff they might check out. Well, the ones that I'm watching now, I want to finish, obviously. And since I'm not gonna like be able to do this full time until something happens if I'm making enough money from it. But Mondays community, that's booked for probably the next year and a half. I don't know how many episodes total, but at least a year. I have Mondays booked. All right, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, even though they're getting struck down, I want to keep watching them. I want to keep doing them. So right now that's Thursday, but Atlanta, I only have 8 more episodes. Then I'm going to move Brooklyn Nine-Nine to Wednesday. So my Monday and Wednesdays are going to be booked. Our Flag Means Death comes out next month, but that's 8 episodes in a month, and those are Thursdays. So that's only going to be 4 weeks worth. Once that's done, then I'll have another open slot because Rick and Morty is Patreon only. So basically, in a month, yeah, basically in 6 weeks, I will only have a Monday and a Wednesday. So I'll need to add another show. And preferably, it'll be a comedy and a 20-minute show like Community and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I really like doing these quick shows. I don't think I'm going to move Rick and Morty to YouTube because I need content that's exclusive to Patreon, or else what's the reason for going there? Um, so yeah, I'll have to research something to eventually have, probably for a Friday. So it'll be Community Monday, Rick and Morty Tuesday on Patreon, Atlanta Wednesday, Brooklyn Nine-Nine Thursday. Then Our Flag Means Death. They dropped 3 episodes October 5th. So that's going to be like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm going to try to put them out. And then the following week, they have 2 episodes. I'll try to do it Thursday and Friday. The week after, 2 episodes, Thursday and Friday. The week after is the finale, 1 episode. And then Our Flag Means Death is done. The next year, I'm guessing What We Do in the Shadows is coming back. That's usually really quick, but like I definitely need current shows. So like Rick and Morty, Community, Atlanta, they're old, they're done. Like they're cult classics, people still watch them. But people wanna probably watch reactions of newer shows, hence why I was doing What We Do in the Shadows, and then only Our Flag Means Death. I keep saying only. I'm tired. Jay says for sure. Parks and Rec, if you go on my YouTube, I did the first 3 episodes. Nobody watched them, so I stopped. I've watched that series like 3 times. I would do it, but again, that's an NBC show, I think, and those got struck too. So, but no one watched them. So, but now I have more followers. So maybe I'll do once Our Flag Means Death starts, I'll probably do a poll to see what people want to watch. New Girl, I was never really into that. I was thinking about The Good Place, but it's old. Like I want a show that's on now, but I don't know. I don't really know if they make shows like Community and Atlanta and Brooklyn Nine-Nine anymore. Just 20 minutes of hilarity. Though the other thing that I like to try to do with my TV shows is I want them to be diverse. So Community has a diverse cast. Atlanta obviously is an all black show. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I would say it's diverse. The main character is a white male, but there's Amy, there's Rosa, there's Captain Holt, there's Terry Crews. Terry, like, it's diverse. What We Do in the Shadows, I know that one is all basically white characters, but there's 2 women on that show. But I wouldn't consider that diverse. Our Flag Means Death, diverse. White characters, black characters, straight, bisexuals, gay, everything. Like that show is very diverse. So I don't know. I could look some stuff up. I'm gonna have to think on that one then. There has to be a number of good titles. The Good Place isn't that old, just ended a few years ago. Yeah, pretty much. Um, I think I'm gonna have to cut it. It's about 7, and I got stuff I gotta do as always at 7. Gotta. Oh no, I don't have to edit today, so I could actually just relax and do things around the apartment. Probably mess with this audio. I'm gonna upload this to the podcast that I use, and then I'll send you the link on Discord. But thanks for showing up. I do it because it's fun. As I said, I wish I had enough enough subs to hop on to chat. I definitely know once Our Flag Means Death comes out, I'm gonna have a lot of people on here because that fan base is amazing, and like they actually basically got me kicked off on this because once I started reviewing that, my subs like grew fast, and then once I was done, it took me like a while. Like I had a good spark at the beginning doing that, and then gradually, then I hit 1,000, and then I've grown a little bit since then, almost at 3,000. But yeah, whew, that's all I got. So thank you for hopping on and chatting with me. If you weren't on, I'd probably have been done a half an hour ago. So, oh man, I'll hit you up in not OBS, on Discord in a minute and see what happens. So, oh, all right, I'll talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll probably hit you up in like 20 minutes. All right, later. Oh.